The news has been filled with questions about Iran developing nuclear weapons recently. Sometimes just as a generic threat, as though we can be trusted with them and they can't, with some implied racist bullshit about irrational Muslims, and sometimes with a direct link to Iran's posturing about the Zionist entity and arguments that Israel should be wiped off the map. Folks, if you believe that stuff suggests a nuclear threat, I have a bridge to sell you in Antarctica. Let me give you some useful context there. What Iran is saying is policy in lots of countries, in that it argues Israel deserves no diplomatic recognition without justice and peace for Palestinians, since it is a settler colony built on their land. It's not a threat, it's an argument that the state is illegitimate and should not be treated with in the same way that many countries refused to treat with apartheid South Africa in the 70s and 80s. I mean, I'm not surprised by our blindness there, as the US and Israel were apartheid South Africa's biggest supporters, but come on, people. And on the nuclear issue, there's the matter of Pakistan. Newsflash, Pakistan's position on Israel is exactly the same as Iran's position, and they've had nukes since 1998. See the problem yet? Pakistan's government also thinks Israel should be wiped off the map, and if that meant a nuclear attack, they could have done it. They didn't, because that's not what it means, because that's fucking idiotic. For fuck's sake, Israel has about 400 nuclear weapons, including submarine-based ones. And it would be stupid for any country to attack them that way. So this again is grounded in imperialism and anti-Muslim racism. Also, just FYI, during the current conflict, Pakistan directly threatened to launch nukes at Israel if Israel used nukes on Iran, extending its nuclear deterrent to its neighbor. That fact was hardly reported and gets ignored in all the breathless reporting about nuclear weapons because it's not useful to the establishment narrative about the Iranian supposed threat to the world. Heaven forbid any Western journalists do their fucking jobs and inform the public that their leaders are lying to them. Oh no, manufacturing consent for imperial war is far more important to their bottom line than any inconvenient facts. On the matter of nukes as a whole, I'll note first that I think they are inhumane and ought to be abolished everywhere. In that, oddly enough, I agree with Iran's clerical authority, which has long argued that they are forbidden under Sharia law, but whatever. In all this media frenzy over nuclear proliferation and its threat, I want to know, where is the discussion of Israel's nuclear weapons, and how they have left the country feeling free to violate the sovereignty of neighboring countries and bomb the shit out of Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Iran? And where is the discussion of American nuclear weapons, and how they have, since Truman's atomic diplomacy of 1945, been used offensively to bully the world and get our way? The Soviets went nuclear precisely because we were using nukes to force them to back down on a united but disarmed Germany, for example. We'd also invaded them in 1919 and had generals like Patton during and after World War II calling for an invasion of the USSR in alliance with the Nazi remnant. And don't forget how General MacArthur called for nuking Chinese cities during the Korean War, as that's a key reason China went nuclear in the 1960s. Then there's the whole imperialist hypocrisy on deterrence. An article recently noted that Britain is acquiring new fighter jets capable of carrying its nuclear deterrence. But what is the UK deterring? No one's tried to invade since the Spanish fucking Armada, and the idea that someone would nuke them out of the blue is preposterous. Those weapons are an offensive threat, and they allow the country to bully others, same as with the US. Countries seek a nuclear deterrent precisely to avoid being invaded by countries like the US, the UK, Israel, and Russia. I'm betting the government in Kiev has had cause to regret giving up the weapons they inherited but could not afford at the collapse of the Soviet Union. I mean, face it, nuclear weapons have some strategic logic in deterring aggression, but little relevance in offensive war, and the world would be far better off if no country had them. If you don't trust Iran's leaders with them, but somehow trust India, Russia, Israel, France, China, the UK, Pakistan, North Korea, and the United fucking States, congratulations, you are an idiot. Nuclear weapons should be abolished for everyone. But until that happens, proliferation is inevitable. And as in 1945, all such proliferation is our fucking fault. If you are ranting and raving about the threat of a nuclear Iran, you sound every bit as stupid as the people who told you Iraq was going to launch chemical weapons at Chicago or some shit. Grow the fuck up and learn to think critically. critically.